All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I have a special guest joining me today, Deanna Deacon, and we are talking about intuition and offering you a behind the scenes look at how we use our intuition in our life and our business and just our own personal journey with exploring our intuition, sharing some stories around that, and really supporting you in activating your unique intuitive gifts. And it's just perfect time for this training because we're still in the energy of the new moon in Virgo as well. So I feel like that energy of the new moon is a great time to really connect to our intuition, connect to our intentions, and yeah, just a great time for this.
The energy has just been so potent this entire week. And I absolutely love when we get to come into that new moon energy and use our intuition to set our intention, to set our desired reality, to actually start stepping into what we want in our lives and using the energy of the moon to bring that in. I teach a class called Belly Fit, a movement fitness dance-based class. And yesterday we did the light warrior routine, and we were cultivating our inner resiliency and light to use that to catapult us forward through the new moon energy of intention.
Oh, I love that. So
Mhm. It was
powerful.
super fun.
Fun and powerful. All right, if you are joining us today, say hi so we can welcome you in here. We're so happy to have you here, and we're definitely open to taking questions throughout. So if you have questions about intuition, go ahead and ask them. We
And
are
even if you happen to be watching the replay, or if you're watching this somewhere outside of Facebook, please connect to Kara or myself and ask us any questions that you have, because as you're going to hear, really learning to cultivate and activate our own intuition has transformed our lives and has brought so much more peace and ease into both our business and our personal lives. And we want, like, everybody has access to this. We want you to have access. We want you to utilize the same teachings and principles that we have. So please reach out to us and let us know what's coming up for you, what questions you have.
absolutely, yeah. It's so true. Like intuition makes everything in our life flow with greater ease. I see it as our inner guidance system. Like we come into this world with an inner guidance system that lets us know what decisions are right for us. And it's exactly what you said. I feel like it is so natural for us to tap into. Yet a lot of us, like early on in our life, we get trained out of it. I think as babies, like we're naturally just connected in, and there's certainly things we can do to like strengthen these gifts. But then we come in and we hear like people say to kind of trust authority, right? Like trust authority, trust the adults. And then we kind of put like our own inner wisdom aside. And then if we don't practice that throughout life, we like lose sight of it. We lose touch with that guidance system. But when we can reconnect with it, like I find every aspect of our life, like simple things for like, what do I eat for breakfast to like, what programs do I release in my business? What mentors do I work with? Like, what relationships do I cultivate in my life? Like every single aspect, intuition is behind that.
100%. And yeah, Kara, what you shared is so true, that we do all have this innate wisdom that lives within us, and it's flowing to us all the time. But most of us have gotten really skilled at tuning it out. But when you start welcoming in, listening to that guidance, when you start bringing more of that intuitive guidance into your life and asking questions and opening to receive the answers, there's this beautiful sense of flow that occurs. And there's less pressure, there's less pushing to try to figure out the right answer, because you just trust the answer that comes to you. And like Kara said, if you're considering in your business investing and hiring a business coach, chances are that's thousands of dollars for you to invest. In the past, we would have believed it would be best for you to do so by, doing a pros and cons list, thinking out logistically, what are all the right steps for this? What am I going to receive? What are my benefits, etc. And you can still do that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what you want to decide that decision for you, what you want to decide whether or not you're going to invest that amount of money and that time and energy, is your intuitive guidance. Because your intuitive guidance comes directly from your soul energy, and your soul energy knows so much more than our sweet little human brain.
So true. And I'm just logging in on my phone here so I can see comments because they're not showing up for us here, but I think we've got some comments already happening. So hi, Josephine. Josephine's joining us. We got Nikki here, Ryan, Tanya, my dad is here. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, everyone.
Here where I'm going to be able to more easily see your questions and comments now, which is wonderful. And yeah, Deanna, I would love to hear just like a little more about your journey with intuition, because I know you have a really powerful like story to share around how you tapped into it, and I can't wait to hear it. So
Yeah, it's a beautiful story that has multiple pieces to it, and I'm going to condense it for you today. So if you want more of the longer version, come hang out with me on Facebook or Instagram, and you'll learn more through that. It starts in New Zealand. When in 2012, when my current husband, who at that point I'd been dating for 6 months, Luke and I went to New Zealand, and we decided to live there for a year. We were going to backpack for a few months until we ran out of money, and then we were going to get jobs, find a place to live, and just live the Kiwi lifestyle. First of all, going to New Zealand was intuitively guided. I didn't know that. I just felt some sort of feeling inside of me and said, I think I'm supposed to go. And I went, but I didn't have the language around intuition. But the first time that I had a solid, legitimate piece of proof that my intuition was guiding me and was accurate was when Luke and I found an apartment to live in. It was the nicest apartment either of us had ever even considered living in. We were travelers. We were broke. We didn't expect to live in some place of luxury. And this incredible apartment was overlooking the ocean, this beautiful surf beach. It was so lovely in this little town called Mount Maunganui on the North Island, for anyone who's been to New Zealand. And it was living with another couple from Chile. We were so excited. It was perfect. We took a look at it. We decided that we would leave and come back and let them know. And Luke was like, we're doing this, right? Like, this is the nicest place I've ever lived. 100%. There's not even a question. Yeah. And there was this feeling inside of me of nope, nope. And Luke and I had been dating for 6 months. And he's like, what do you mean no? Like, what for? What's your reason? Where's your logic? And I didn't have any. I just had the feeling. I just had the sensation that I don't know. I just don't think we should do it. Mm-hmm. And because I didn't have the confidence in my intuition or the relationship with it or the verbiage to speak it, I said, okay, I don't think we should, but I trust you because I don't have anything else to say. I don't have any logic behind it. Therefore, let's move in. We move all our stuff. We move our 2 bags in and our few groceries. Yeah. And we start unpacking. We're so excited to have a place to live. We've been traveling for months. And the couple that we were living with were just leaving, and they said, okay, you guys, we'll be home in a couple hours. We're going to be bringing our son home. And we went, oh, you have a son? They said, yeah, we have a teenage son. He's in grade 9. He's going to be living on the couch now that you guys are in his room. And suddenly we realized, oh my goodness, we're absolutely not okay with that. Taking a bedroom away from a teenage boy is absolutely not acceptable. Mm-hmm. Also, we didn't know if we were going to be working at bars and coming home late at night, if we were going to be working day jobs. We had no idea. And we knew immediately this couple had kept that truth from us. Mm-hmm. And I knew like that's what my intuition was tapping into. And suddenly Luke knew it too. And from that point forward, it became so much easier for me to say, my intuition says no, and no longer needing the logic in our relationship. So that was the very first time I got a taste of what intuition truly is and how it can serve us.
So powerful. Oh, I love that. And it's often like, it's through, like, I was reflecting too on like my journey with intuition and when it was really speaking to me. And it was through those times that, like, I see in hindsight, I didn't listen. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is what happens when you don't. So like, what a powerful experience to like demonstrate that, right? Like, yeah, probably not the most pleasant thing at the time.
It wasn't, but as the world turns, I mean, we found an incredible place that happened to be with a couple who was from England. They became our best friends. They got each of us jobs. It all worked out perfectly. My intuition was guiding me the whole time. I just didn't know how to listen to it.
Right.
And just to kind of bring it, like, there's so many steps in between, but to bring it to current day reality with me and my intuition, I mean, I use my intuition every single moment. I'm guided constantly to the point where I have this incredible program that I have mapped out the entire coaching program. It will be deeply impactful for all female business owners and leaders that want to embody more into their softness, their feminine. But my intuition keeps telling me it's not the right time. Don't open it. Don't share it. Don't invite people in yet. And sometimes it's hard because the business aspect, I'm like, well, I want to do it. It's going to be so great.
Yeah.
But I listen to my intuition and let it guide me. And that moment that it says now, I'm ready to take action, and I am patient and willing to wait until that time comes.
I love it. Yes. And if you are here live, I want to just hear from you if you have like a similar story. Because I think we all, right, have those experiences where you felt like intuitively you knew this wasn't right, but on paper it looked good, right? So true. And we got Alina jumping in. Good morning, beautiful. Yeah, it's like our intuition is not logical. And I think in our culture, we're so trained, right? Like logic is like the be all and end all. Like if you're not being logical, there's something wrong with that. So even as you shared that, I'm like, oh yeah, like that was just kind of an aha moment for me in times in my life where something felt off, but there was someone I was around who may have been more practical and more logical. And it's like, well, this is what we have to do. And I'm like, oh, like it doesn't feel right to me, but I didn't have the wording either to explain how. And I didn't have the confidence at all of those times to back myself and know like, hey, intuition is so valuable. Yes, our logic and analytical mind is too, but our intuition is so connected to our soul and our subconscious as well, that it has information that we're not consciously always accessing.
Yeah.
So when we really learn to trust that, like that is what's going to lead us to our path and what's right for us. And I think that's often what makes it difficult too, is like if we look at it on paper, it may not always make sense, right? Like it may, like,
it often doesn't.
Right? And I think that's the difficult thing, to like trust it, because we're like, but the more we lean in, like I also see it as kind of that dance between like the masculine and feminine energy, right? Like the masculine energy being more analytical, more logical. And I say this for like men and women, right? We both have the masculine and feminine energies, right? But because we've kind of put so much on the masculine energy, we've just put like logic on this pedestal and intuition down here as something that we may not trust. But I even think like as a society, as we're embracing the divine feminine more, we're embracing our intuition more, and we're seeing the value in like trusting that inner knowing, even if we don't know like why we're being guided to say yes to this, why it makes sense, but we just know within us, right? It's just like when I look at the you know, the different types of clairs that we have, like claircognizant, which is just like this knowing, I don't know how I know it, but I just know it, right? And for me, that's often like how my intuition speaks to me. And it's always been that way since I've been a kid. It's just like, I don't know how I know this about this person or about this place, but I just know. Or often for me too, it's like a clairsentience, which is a gut feeling. Like I'll just enter a room or be around a person and I feel my energy shift. Like I feel energetically I'm responding to that. And that's often a way as well that's like, okay, that's my intuition. So I think it's important too that we start to become aware of how our intuition is like uniquely speaking to us as well. Do you find that too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's a personal journey for all of us to find our intuition and how it speaks to you. And sometimes it comes in many ways. Like both that you mentioned, I received that as well. I also have this really incredible experience of seeing, when I close my eyes and when I'm in connection with a client, I see animals, and the animals represent something within me and my knowledge and my knowing that then showcases that wisdom to the clients in some way. And this is how energetically we're all connected. And I think, well, I'm curious, what allowed you to feel, oh, sorry. My sister and my nephews are FaceTiming me. I declined it. I'll call you back, sister. What allowed you, Kara, to become more confident in your intuition and in trusting it? Because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. They maybe have that sense, they get that idea, they feel that gut feeling, or they see or they have that knowing. But how did you start trusting it and feeling confident to follow it?
Yeah, such a good question. Like, because I knew we were doing this live and I was reflecting more on intuition. It's always been a big part of my journey. And I was like thinking back to even when I was a kid, like I remember my parents kind of telling me stories, like when I was really little, like we would go to visit some people and like I wouldn't go in the house. It's like I just sensed something as a kid, like I didn't want to go in. Or as a baby, when some people picked me up, I would just like start crying and screaming, and then someone else would be completely calm. And I think my parents kind of labeled that as difficult. But looking back, I'm like, no, I was just like this little sensitive empath trying to navigate the world. And I picked up on everything so strongly. So I always feel like I had that connection to intuition. And thankfully, like what my parents did do, like my mom never made me do something if I felt uncomfortable. Like she wouldn't force me to go into that house. So it really helped me like cultivate and trust that intuition. But I found as I got a little older, like I lost touch with it again. Like even thinking in my early 20s, going through university, it's like I lost that connection. And I didn't have that faith, or I was putting trust in other people, looking at what they were doing outside of me. And how I really gained that trust, I don't know if it was like one situation or many where I heard my intuition saying one thing and I didn't listen and I went through anyway, and it always proved to be correct time and time again. And I just had to look back and you're like, my intuition knew something that I didn't at that time. And then also I think as far as building the confidence, it is those times where I've said yes to my intuition and I've just learned to back myself. Yeah. And the more we do it, I think the more confident we get with it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And made me think of something that you shared earlier too about how like our analytical brain is really powerful and it's really useful. It's a useful tool. And the way that I like to look at this, and I have a feeling for someone who's watching, this is going to be supportive for you. If you spend a lot of time in your analytical brain, I want you to start looking at your mind and your cognitive function as a tool for your intuition to use, as opposed to your mind, your analytical, your cognitive function being who you are. Because when you see that your mind is a tool and that your intuitive guidance that flows through you gets to use that analytical sense, that gets to use that cognitive sense, that knowledge, that piece of you that can solve a problem, that can make action happen, that can do the things, but it's guided and intentional from your intuition, that's when your life changes. That's when everything changes, because our minds are so powerful and we should be using them to our greatest good instead of to our greatest detriment, which is what most of us do, which is why we are stuck in these cycles of suffering, stuck in these cycles of ego and doubt and fear and worry and lack and comparison and judgment of self and others, because we're allowing our mind to take over instead of using our intuitive guidance to use our mind as a tool.
Beautiful. I love how you explain that, Deanna. Let me know if this is resonating. If you guys are here live, send some hearts along. Hi, Lorena. Hello, Catherine's here. Brenda. Love that. Minds are a tool, not the controller. Yes.
And I feel like that's like, it's when you get it, like when you embody that and you're like, oh, that's a pivotal shift. Right. Because suddenly your soul essence, your higher self essence actually becomes who you are. A lot of you watching, especially if you've been hanging out with Kara for a while, you probably know that your higher self is really who you are, that your presence and your essence is really who you are. But until you embody it and live as though it is true, because it is, that's when the things start to change. And that's when, like Kara's saying, that's when building that confidence and trusting your intuition comes a lot more easily. It's more fun to play like, interesting, I'm feeling guided this way. Doesn't really make sense, but I'm going to try it and see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love how you explain that, Deanna. I'm like, Deanna and I did a workshop together, ceremony. We're going to talk more about it after. You'll have an opportunity to watch that and have access to it. But that was such an aha moment in that ceremony, Deanna, when you spoke about that. Like it just clicked for me in a new way of, it's not supposed to be like our analytical mind and our intuition just like clashing like this. They are supposed to work together. And that really does change everything, right? Because often, like I use my intuition for so much now. And like you said, connecting to your higher self, even when I'm creating programs and offers, I'll often enter the Akashic Records and I'll like channel it as well, which is a very receptive state, right? And involves me trusting my intuition on what I am receiving. But then the logic, analytical mind still helps me put all the pieces together and then share it with the world. So it's like I need both of those working together to help me. And it's just, I love how you explain it.
Thank you.
Perfect. And it just allows us to see intuition in a whole new way, a whole new light. And to see, like, I know at the start we spoke about the pros and cons list too, which was like the old way of making decisions, right? People would say, well, make a pros and cons list. that always drove me crazy anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
I did it so many
that's
times, but
not
I
how
just
my mind works. So
it was just so like so structured, and I've always been someone who desires more freedom, more flow, more dance in my life, but I
Mhm.
didn't allow myself to have that for the first couple decades
Mhm.
because it didn't seem right. I wanted to be normal. And then I started to learn that I don't want to be normal. I want to be an outlier. I want to be that one who deeply trusts and believes in myself and my soul purpose and know that I'm here to serve and lift up humanity, not just
Mhm.
work a job, not just make money to spend money. I want to be of service to myself and all in all the ways that I can. And the only way that I can do that within myself, within my own authenticity and truth, is by listening to my intuition. It's the only way.
Yeah. So beautiful. Beautifully said. All right, goddesses, let me know if you have questions coming up around this. Lamorla,
Mm.
she loves this topic. Yes, so powerful. I hope we're not frozen on my like phone. It's showing us as frozen, but
Come on, interwebs. Hey, Kara, I want to share something for everyone that's watching. If any of you use essential oils, I'm assuming a lot of you do. So I don't know what this blend would be in another brand, but I use doTERRA, and I want to share this with you. I hope it's not backwards. Oh yeah. So this doTERRA blend is called In Tune, and it's all like tattered and such because I literally use this every single day. I don't know what it is. I've never done the research, but I've been intuitively guided for the past couple of years to use this oil to support me to come deeper into my intuition. So I put it on before our call today. Every single time I have a client session, I will put it on my wrist. I don't actually love the smell of it. I don't do it because of the smell. I do it because I can feel myself tap in much faster. So my morning meditation, before working with a client, before doing a call like this, when I want to let go of this part and come into my guidance, I use In Tune blend with doTERRA. It's incredible. It's super potent.
beautiful. I
Mhm.
love that. And I think that's such a good thing to chat about too, like ways that we kind of sink into
Yeah.
our intuition, because that really is the key, right? It's like we have to be in a receptive space to hear our intuition. We have to like take a step back. And how I see it is like intuition is that inner knowing I have that like kicks in immediately, like before my mind has that chance to like overthink it. It's just
Mhm.
it's like this deep inner knowing, and it feels really calm. It feels really centered. Like there's usually not even fear or emotion attached to it unless my mind attaches it. It's just like this inner guidance to do this, take this action. And it's very like immediate, like with any situation, right? Like it'll drop in before anything else. But I think in order to hear that, we have to be connected or we'll miss that. So I know you shared like the beautiful doTERRA oils that you use as like one way, or your meditation. What are some of those practices that you really like to use to stay connected to that space?
Yeah. So I'm very body oriented. I've always been very sensitive in my body. I've been a fitness instructor for years. I've been teaching ecstatic dance and belly fit and yoga for the past 3 or 4 years. So a lot of what I do is I feel things in my body. And
Yeah.
I've done a lot of research and studying and working with clients about releasing energetic blocks through the body. So for me, now that it's just an everyday, every moment occurrence for me, I feel sensations in my body. And sometimes it's almost like I can feel my body pulling me in a direction. So after a session with a client, I might feel this pull that I need to go outside and put my feet on the earth. And it might be for 2 seconds, it might be for 10 minutes. I just allow myself to go with that guidance, or it'll be like a pull towards contacting someone, sending a text to a friend, giving someone a phone call, checking in on someone on Facebook, or checking in with a client. It's like my body just like expands into it, and then the thought comes right after as to what that is.
Yeah.
So to get into that, because that's really powerful for me to utilize, because I don't necessarily have to think, it just occurs in my body. I do daily practice to release energetic blocks from my body. So I move my body every day through really fluid types of dance movement, through yoga practice, through breath work. I do hot and cold in the shower just to help get all of my cells activated, starting to release. I eat as healthy as I can, not just because I want to feel good, but because it serves my purpose of serving humanity. And getting ample sleep, journaling out all of my thoughts, because our thoughts are energy, and they can create energetic blocks in our body. So it's really become a daily practice of lifestyle of continuously releasing everything that doesn't feel aligned with my higher self.
Beautifully said. Oh,
Thank
I
you.
love that. Yeah, because if we're naturally like in that space of alignment and connected to our higher self, then intuition is flowing. So it is just like releasing any of the energetic blocks or resistance around being able to hear that. So powerful. Yes. And I'm very like physical too. Like I feel very in touch with my body. I feel like I have to move my body, like exercise every day to like just burn energy off, I find. And also too, like when I'm moving around or I'm out for a walk, that tends to be when I get like divine downloads and I get guidance is when I'm moving. Or even like if I like have ideas in or I'll process things when I'm moving my body, and it's like the energy's physically moving through me as well. And I find it's just so powerful. Yeah. So any tools that allow us to do that, like EFT is another one I love to use to like just shift energy in my body, or even of course, just like opening and entering the Akashic records and just sitting in that space, being in that energy and holding the intention to align to who I really am, right? To align to my higher self. And at the same time, connecting into Mother Earth. Like, I think it's important we have the connection as well, like connection above and connection below. And we allow that to kind of flow. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you shared that. And I think what I'm hearing from both of us is really seeing yourself as a vessel of energy. That especially that idea of connecting, like anchoring and rooting into the earth and then expanding and rising into the sky and having the wisdom of the universe flowing through you and the anchoring and groundedness of the earth coming through you as well, and letting yourself create that visualization that you are a vessel of energy flowing. And that allows the energy in your body to consistently and continuously flow, which means that that intuition that's coming to you constantly, there's less ways for it to be blocked.
Right. Beautiful.
It feels good. Like you just feel alive and awake and happy and engaged and on purpose.
I love it. And you really radiate that energy. It's really fun to be around. Really beautiful. Yeah. And we are a vessel, right? I always say we're a vessel or a channel for the divine, right? For your divine messages, guidance to like really just flow through us. So we want to keep that connection and we want to stay grounded too. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, I was echoing for a second there. Hopefully that goes away. All right, we'll move back closer. How is everyone doing and feeling with this? Let us know if you have questions before we share with you a very special offer that we have. Yay!
I'm really excited to share more about it with everybody.
Well, Susan is here. Hello, beautiful. Welcome. I think we had Nawal and Erica jump in as well. And the replay will be available too. We will keep the replay up on my page. We're going to share it out. Yes, it will remain available. But for anyone that wants to go deeper with connecting to your intuition, with activating your intuitive gifts, Deanna and I have created something really, really special for you. So this is a sacred ceremony we have done together. So the recording is now available. And as part of that, I guide you through an Akashic Records journey to activate your third eye chakra. So we're really doing the energetic work. And when you're in the space of the Akashic Records, you're naturally like more tuned in to your higher self, to your intuitive gifts. So this is a really powerful way to like energetically get back into alignment. And then Deanna shares some really, really beautiful like practical tools. Do you want to share about that? Some of the journaling exercises that you offer through that?
Yeah. So one of the ways that I've really utilized my intuition throughout my journey over the past probably like 6 to 8 years that I've really been building up towards where I am now has been journaling. And I love using journaling as even an intuitive practice of using journaling to connect into your intuition and your soul energy. So in this beautiful class that we taught, I led everybody through a journaling exercise to become more and more clear about how do you feel your intuition? How do you receive it? What's getting in the way of it? How do you desire it to feel in your body and to look in your life? To create the connection from the mind to the heart, from the cognitive aspect to the soul energy, because a lot of us are still really engaged with our mental capacity. We're engaged in that cognitive aspect. So it's really about blending those two together. And a different way of looking at it is really blending the yin and the yang, or blending the masculine and the feminine, bringing those together to work together. So that was really super fun. And one of my favorite things to do, especially when it comes to this more esoteric, energetic type of work, is find ways to make it practical. Find ways to like go up there and like tap into everything and then bring it in and cool. What am I going to do now? What is my action? How am I going to put this into place? So that's a lot of what I brought towards that beautiful.
It was so good. It was really powerful ceremony because you do get both, right? Like you get the activation, you learn how to open your records, you activate that third eye, and then we ground it out. Right? On like practically like how you tune in to make those decisions in your life with ease. And even as part of that too, I feel like it helps you tap into your unique intuitive gifts, like how your intuition is speaking to you. So it's really, really beautiful. So as part of our package, you have access to that ceremony. And then we have really special bonuses too. So I have a goddess activation. I think I called it goddess activation meditation. Yeah, it's really good. And it just helps you feel more empowered, more connected to your divine feminine power. And then Deanna did a special bonus as well around.
Yeah. And just before I talk about that, Kara, I absolutely love the goddess activation meditation because for you ladies who are watching, and for you men too, this is important as well. There's massive shifts occurring on the planet right now in all of humanity, energetically, in the cognitive process. There are so many massive shifts occurring, and women need to start awakening back to their wildness within, back to their connection to the wholeness of who they are. And when I think of a goddess, which both Kara and I do a lot of work with the idea of goddess and what that word means, what that energy looks like, it's really about a woman who is fully embodied in her truth. She's not holding herself back. She's not in these loops of suffering. She's connected to her truth and her potential. And that's why this is important, not just for you and your happiness and well-being, to serve humanity, to serve your community, to serve your children. That's why this is important. So I really want you to feel and to understand how valuable it is to start tapping into that goddess energy. I like to think of it as goddess energy, or sometimes that queen energy or matriarchal energy of how do you hold space? How do you show up as your whole self, your true self, your wild self within? And that's what this work is so important to me. And Kara, what you offered as that beautiful bonus is incredible. And I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you so much. Oh, I receive and appreciate that. And it's so true, right? Like this work goes far beyond us in our life. It is about humanity. It is about the shifts we are undergoing, and each of us play a role in that.
Yes.
And when we are connected to our intuitive gifts, our goddess power, the world changes, the planet changes. So it is so, so key. I love that.
Yeah. And remember that every thought you have, every emotion you have, it is emitting an energetic frequency into the world, into the conscious collective. Remember that. So the more work that you do individually to shift through your mental blocks, to come into your truth, to trust in yourself, to speak your truth to others, you are supporting the whole energetic collective. You truly are. And I know it can be hard to see that, but feel it. Trust us. We're here telling you it is accurate.
It is accurate. And if we trust our intuition, we all feel that.
Yeah. And so going along with that, one of the bonuses that I added into this incredible experience for those of you that decide to step forward into it is 3 really strategic, practical things you can do every single day to start tapping into your intuition. These are the 3 things that I truly did. Once that New Zealand moment happened, life happened as well. So I knew my intuition was a thing, but I wasn't actively relying on it or utilizing it. So these 3 tips that I offer to you are simple and powerful. And there's something that you can implement into your day right away. Even if you're exhausted and overwhelmed in life right now, you can implement them immediately, and you're going to start seeing a deeper connection and relationship with your intuition.
Beautiful. So powerful. And again, like these skills you can use in all areas of your life, right? In like choosing what you eat, how you exercise, the relationships you enter, the decisions you make in your business, the clients you work with, the programs you release. Like it is the core to everything you decide. And it's bringing it back to you, right? It's like your intuition, your inner wisdom. So just send us a personal message if you want to get in on this, and we will send you a link with the details. If it feels right, you can sign up and you get access right away.
Yeah, we have everything lined up and ready to go. So it's today, if when we're recording this, it's Friday morning. So if you have even just maybe 2 hours or so this weekend and you really want to create a beautiful ceremony for yourself, pull in the energy of the new moon, use that intentional energy to catapult you forward into living your truth, into living guided by your intuitive guidance, then let us know, because we want to get this into your hands so that you have that access, and that you also have access to us to ask your questions, to explore your celebrations and your wins, so that we get to be your incredible intuitive cheerleaders and support you along your journey.
Yes, I love this. Oh, so fun. So definitely reach out, send either myself or Deanna a message if you would like access to this. And otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. This was so much fun. Let me just check in, see if there's any comments. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Megan's here. We're getting lots of hearts. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. And I hope the screen wasn't like frozen the whole time. I don't think it was, but join us just like frozen.
Oh, the interwebs.
A funny visual, but that may just be on my phone. Who knows?
It happened on mine the other day. I think we're good.
I think we're probably okay. Yeah. We got people interacting. They usually leave if we could freeze. So, all right. This was so much fun. Is there anything you want to share or say, Deanna, before we finish up?
Yeah, Kara, I'd love for you to tap into your heart and share truly from your heart. What message is on your heart right now in this moment to share with everyone that's here with us?
So beautiful. I love how you bring it back to that. Well, the message that's coming through, and this is always like a core one for me, is just this remembrance of how valuable you are, how important you are, and how special like your message is in the world, like how much the world needs that, needs you. Yeah. And when you are connected to that truth in your soul, your intuition, that will flow. That will flow. And it's a blessing, not only in your life, because you feel aligned and connected, but to everyone you meet and in the planet at large. Because as you said, Deanna, our thoughts are a frequency that are sent out into the world, and they determine the vibration of this planet. So we're all here playing a special role, and especially right now, in raising the vibration of the planet, raising the energy, raising collective consciousness. So you matter. Your message matters. You are valuable. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Yes, Kara, that's a beautiful way to end. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Mwah. We love you. We're here to support you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Kara.
Bye for now, everyone.